The Earth pivots on its hub, which is a fanciful line running from the North Pole toward the South Pole. This revolution causes constantly on the planet. This is the carefully guarded secret. Turn, the Earth twirls or pivots around its hub from west to east. This turn requires roughly 24 hours to finish, and it's answerable for the pattern of constantly. As the Earth turns, various pieces of it are presented to the daylight, making light, while the parts confronting away from the sun experience dimness or evening. The world's hub is shifted comparative with its circle around the sun. This slant is around 23.5 degrees. Gives us seasons this slant. As the Earth circles the sun, various pieces of it are leaned toward or away from the sun, which brings about fluctuating measures of daylight and various seasons in various regions of the planet. The Earth additionally circles the sun in a circular way. It requires around 365.25 days to finish one circle. This circle around the sun provides us with our yearly pattern of seasons. The mix of Earth's turn and its circle around the sun gives us the changing seasons and the everyday pattern of constantly. It's critical to take note of that this movement is an essential part of our planet's presence and assumes an urgent part in molding our environment, weather conditions, and the progression of time on the planet. We don't feel the world's turn since it is a consistent and generally sluggish movement, and our bodies and faculties have adjusted to it north of millions of years. The following are a couple of motivations behind why we don't see the world's pivot in our day-to-day routines. 1. Uniform pivot. The Earth turns at an almost consistent speed, finishing one full revolution generally like clockwork. This uniform turn implies that the movement isn't speeding up or evolving emphatically, so we don't feel it. Similarly, we feel shifts in speed or course. 2. Inertia. Items very still will generally remain very still, and articles moving will more often than not stay moving except if followed up on by an outside force, as depicted by Newton's most memorable law of movement. Since we and everything around us are additionally turning with the Earth, we are in a similar condition of movement and experience no powers that would cause us to feel the pivot. 3. Lack of tactile reference. To see movement, our faculties depend on changes in our environmental factors. On the off chance that you're in a shut room without any windows or reference focuses, you will not have the option to detect the world's revolution. In any event, when you're outside, the limitlessness of the Earth and the somewhat sluggish speed of turn imply that adjustments of our nearby climate because of pivot are not promptly observable. For adaptation, people have advanced on the planet, encountering its turn for our whole presence. Our bodies and internal ear, which assist with equilibrium and direction, have adjusted to this steady turn. Subsequently, our faculties have become familiar with the world's movement, and we don't see it as a sensation. The connection between the Earth, Moon, and Sun is a mind-boggling and dynamic one, and it has a few significant perspectives, including gravity, flowing powers, and the consequences for Earth's environment and seasons. Here is an outline of these connections. Gravitational connection. Earth and Moon. The Earth and the Moon are bound together by gravity. Earth's gravity applies a power on the Moon, keeping it in circle all over our world. Earth and Sun. Comparatively, the Earth is in circle around the Sun because of the Sun's gravitational draw. The sun's gravity keeps the Earth in its circular circle. Tides. Earth-Moon tides. The gravitational draw of the Moon on Earth causes the peculiarity known as tides. The Moon's gravity makes 2 elevated tides and 2 low tides every day as Earth pivots. These are known as the elevated tide and low tide swells. Sun-Earth tides. The Sun additionally applies gravitational powers on the planet, which brings about Sun-based tides. These Sun-powered tides join with lunar tides, prompting varieties in the level of sea tides consistently. At the point when the Sun, Moon, and Earth are adjusted, during a full or new moon, we experience more elevated tides and lower low tides, known as spring tides. At the point when they are at right points, during the first and second from last quarter moons, we experience lower elevated tides and more elevated low tides, known as neap tides. Shrouds. Sun-oriented and lunar obscurations happen when the Earth, Moon, and Sun adjust in unambiguous ways. A Sun-oriented obscure happens when the Moon passes between the Earth and the Sun, hindering the daylight from arriving at Earth. A lunar obscuration happens when the Earth passes between the Sun and the Moon, causing some qualms about the Moon. Seasons. The world's hub slant, around 23.5 degrees, is answerable for the evolving seasons. As Earth circles the Sun, various pieces of the planet get fluctuating measures of daylight at various seasons. This pivotal slant is moderately steady over extensive stretches and is affected by the gravitational powers of the Sun and Moon. Soundness. The presence of the Moon settles Earth's hub slant. Without the Moon's gravitational impact, Earth's hub slant could shift altogether throughout geographical timescales, which would emphatically affect our environment.